Making some coffee. It's currently -6 outside. And we'll check on the koi. Let's see what the temperature is in the pond. It's been going down. So the koi are doing well. It's currently the water temperature is 11.7 degrees. Some spider webs. The watercress are growing here and here. They love the winter and the indoor cavern. That temperature is without heating, so not heated yet, but I should put the heat back on now because that temperature is only going to get colder and colder. I'm thinking without heat it might go to like 10 degrees or maybe 9 degrees, but I'd like to keep it around 12. Immune system of koi are great. Well, not so great, but it's reduced. But they should be able to fight bacterial infection at around 12 degrees. Type of infection, I think primarily during wintertime is Aeromonas infection. That's quite common in a pond environment. If they get stressed, if they get weak, yeah, they tend to get those infections. And you'll see sometimes like scale popping out. That means the infection's trying to get in underneath the scale. I haven't had that problem for a long time. So today the task, finally I got time to put the heat on. The other temperature that's also good for koi in winter is that if you actually winter the pond, that means don't put the heat on in the pond and let the temperature go down to 4 degrees Celsius. And at that temperature, between even 0 degrees, I've had my koi go into torpor at 0 before on the first year. But apparently, if you let the temperature go down to between 0 and 4 degrees, all the parasites and bacteria will be inactive. Also, the koi will be inactive. So they'll be at the bottom in torpor, and at that temperature there's no activity going on. Even the filter bacteria is hardly working. Everything grounds to a halt. And I thought about that, but I decided that the safest thing to do is cover my pond and heat it up and make sure that the temperature doesn't go down below maybe 12 or 11 degrees. And yeah, so that's what I try to keep my temperature at. I believe between 4 degrees and 12 degrees is what they call Aeromonas Alley. Is where the koi's immune system is fairly immune compromised, and at that temperature aeromonas are still active, so the aeromonas are sort of like chewing in the koi skin and feeding off their mucus layers. And if that gets compromised in the spring, when the parasites are active, be able to get in their skin barrier and start an infection. Anyways, we'll go ahead and do some work. So right now we're in the basement, and the only thing I have to do to be able to put heat in the pond is to connect this pipe here from here to there, which I'm gonna uncover. Okay, so we'll do that now. So there you go, the vent is all connected, and hot air is being blown into the pond. Another source of heat that goes into the pond is through this aerator. Of course, it's in the basement, and it's warm here. And of course, if it's in the basement, it'll suck air and blow air into the pond. It'll blow air right into the water, into the air stones. And this goes through the vent. There's a hole there. And lastly, I warm the water that drips into my pond. This is how I do it. That's the water outlet. It goes through a couple of timers, and the hose goes through the barrel here, and it coils into the barrel. In the meantime, in this barrel, warm air is being blown into it through the furnace, through this pipe here. There's warm air coming out of here. And so this has an insulated top. And the water comes out through this hose right there. And the hose goes into this big vent. There's a bunch of hose that coils inside this big vent here, and the water there and the hose gets warmed, and then it comes out on the other side through here, and you can tell by touching this hose that it's warm, and that the water that's being dripped into my pond is warmed up, and it goes in to this further vent right through here, and that water gets dripped into the pond. Oh, and I forgot to mention that a couple of my filters are in the basement, and of course it's warm in the basement, so the water that goes through these filters get a bit warmed up, and after they get filtered, they also go back into the pond through here. So it got late. I just got to hook up that heating system, and so now it's dark. You can't see the temperature, but We look in the morning, see how well that heating system picks up the temperature. So guys, it's been a few days. We've had some warm weather, but today is -8. Um, got busy, so I didn't get to film till a few days later. Um, the temperature inside the house is 14 degrees, and it's cold after getting out of the blankets this morning. But I'll have to adjust that soon. But the heater's on. The top of the pond is totally frozen, and they're safe in there. And the temperature inside the pond is 12.3 degrees. So they're at that proper temperature now. And look at them. They're all looking for food. So we must go out and feed them. So I still have this hatch here on top of the pond where I opened it up and feed the koi through it. See? Woo. That's frozen. But I do this with one hand. And they're usually up here waiting for their breakfast. Here, kids. Actually, a nice day today. Just to add on, another point is that in a big natural pond in the winter, when koi hibernate or go into torpor, you know, they have a big, huge pond and they can torpor or hibernate anywhere they want. They can go deeper or shallower, but what they really do is that they don't go deep in the pond. They go around 4 or 5 feet, maybe up to 6 feet, where the temperature is 4 degrees Celsius or lower, because I think at that temperature they are safe from parasites growing or bacteria growing in their skin, because at that temperature those parasites are also dormant. They don't go deeper where it's warmer, because at those warmer temperatures, if at those temperature, it's gonna be like Aeromonas Alley. So with this pond, it's 4.5 feet deep, so it's a good depth. They can hibernate in the wintertime if I don't heat. But the temperatures around here is up and down, and the temperatures in the deep of winter, I'm sure, will be less than 4 degrees if the pond was uncovered, and I'll allow it to get iced, and they will hibernate there. But there'll be periods where it's warm, and it'll go above 4 degrees and below 12 degrees, and the koi doesn't like that, and they can't, it's not a big pond, they can't go to places like in the wild where they can move to better temperatures that are cooler for them to hibernate, so they would be unhappy certain times of the years. or a certain time of the winter. So I'd like it to be consistently above Aeromonas Alley at greater than 12 degrees, or ideally less than 4 degrees during winter. But it can't be guaranteed that it'd be less than 4 degrees throughout most of the winters, because the temperature around our area is, like I said, up and down. There'll be times where the pond is frozen during winter, and there'll be warm times where it's not. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks everyone for watching.